Hi guys, this is Carissa and welcome back to my channel Inky Fairy Days for the final day of the 12 days of Creative Christmas. So this is day 12. I have been talking about this, really excited about it. We started to create a Christmas village, my family and I. I'm going to show you in this video how to create those stained glass looking windows. I'm using the stamps from DRS Designs. They're arch stained glass and small stained glass stamps. I've had these in my stamp stash forever and they were the perfect stamps to use for this. I stamped with ink on 3 Blackout ink, and these are the Copic markers that I originally picked out to do my coloring for each of the stained glass, but I ended up switching the yellow to Y19 because I needed it to be a lot brighter, and also the purple I changed to BV08 because I needed it to be a lot darker. So I'm stamping on vellum, and I wanted to show you guys how to stamp on vellum and how to color with Copic markers on vellum. So I used to use VersaFine ink for this technique, but I don't know where it is. I couldn't find it. So the ink on 3 Blackout ink, I love this ink. I decided to try it with this ink. You need a fast drying ink, or you need an ink that you can heat set, which ink on 3 worked perfect for. So I'm just stamping all of my stained glass images that I need to color. I figured my husband had built this cathedral and it had 3 cutouts on 2 sides, so that's 6 windows, and then it had 3 larger cutouts on one of the back sides, and those were quite a bit larger, so that's what the 2 on the top with the little arch I used for. And then the smaller ones that are just rectangular, I used for the side windows. Now I'm going to link to another video that I think I have on my YouTube channel that shows you how you can use these particular stamps with your other stamped images to create really cool stained glass looking effects on your cards. I will link that up here in the iCards so you can check that out. So here I am just heat setting it with my Ranger heat tool, and it took a little while for that to set. You want to be very careful and move your heat tool around a lot to the different images. Don't stay in one spot too long because you'll warp the vellum. But you want to make sure that it is completely dry, because while we're going to stamp, or we're actually going to color on the opposite side, we don't want any of that black ink to smear while we're coloring on the other side. So I made sure with a paper towel that it was nice and dry, and then I flipped it over. And this is where we're going to do our coloring. And the reason that we do the coloring on the back for the vellum is really you don't see a lot of the streaking, and it gives you it won't wipe off like if you were to put this on a card, but we're using it like on the cathedral, so it won't wipe off of the vellum, the alcohol marker. You won't have that problem, and it actually dries really well, but I think if you were like to rub it or something, it might streak a little bit, and you don't want to do that. So here I am. There's a ton of coloring to do, but it's very simple coloring, very one-dimensional. Where you get the dimension is all of the different colors that you're going to be using. So I'm doing absolutely no shading for each of my colors. I start with the red. I knew I was going to do the whole rainbow, and I really wanted them spread out, so I didn't really want to have 2 reds next to each other. So on this is where I realized I need a brighter yellow. That yellow was way too light, so that's where I switched it out for the Y19. And so you just kind of go around and you make sure that all of your colors are spread out. And I want to see, do I come in? I did come in with a different green. I think it's G09. I couldn't figure that out. I was just looking at the markers that I had left out. I think I did pull in a darker green. So you just want to make sure that your colors are showing up really brightly when you flip them over, and you can see them on the other side of the vellum. So like I said, all I'm doing is this first one takes the longest because I am making sure that none of my colors are hitting or sitting next to each other, because I really want them to be spread out. I want it to look, like the stained glass effect where the colors are just all different colors, and it's just so pretty. I love stained glass. And that other video that I mentioned earlier is a really cool technique to kind of make it look like there's images in your stained glass. But the windows that we were working with on this particular building were too small. I didn't have small enough stamps to kind of do that effect. But if we do this again next year, I think we're going to try to do something like that. So this first one, like I said, it took a while, and then I just did all of my other coloring the same. So I just like looked at it like color by number. I just put all the same colors in the same spot on the other stamps, and then the same thing for the 3 images below. I don't make you sit here and watch all of that coloring. So the idea for this project came from our advent calendar. I made an advent calendar. Well, I had an advent calendar this year, and I put different things inside of it for each day rather than getting a Lego advent calendar or something like we've done in the past. So this advent calendar had different activities for each day, like read a Christmas book or watch one of our favorite Christmas movies like Elf or The Nativity Story or Polar Express, have hot chocolate with candy canes, stuff like that, make Christmas cookies, things like that. And one of the things my husband had said, because everybody inputted what they wanted to have in one of these days of our advent calendar, and he said, let's make a Christmas village. And at first I was like, really? But then, I thought it would be cute. I've always wanted a little Christmas village, and it would be fun if it was all handmade. So on the day that this Christmas village popped up, I actually had to be out of the house for most of the day. So my husband and my kids worked on the buildings, and I told him my part would be to make the stained glass windows for the church. So that's what I'm showing you today. The tallest window didn't fit any of the stamps. So what I'm doing here is I masked off the bottom of the little arched stained glass window stamp, and I'm going to stamp it twice, like upside down on it. So I'm using my stamp positioner tool that I don't use often now, but that I have a MISTI. But I thought this would be the easiest way to kind of line it up and see where I wanted to stamp the opposite side so that it made just one long continuous window that my husband could then use in the chapel. And so I just lined it up. I stamped it right side up first, and then I'm masking it. I'm a little bit off screen, but you can see I just used some painter tape to mask off that bottom edge, and I'm inking it up with that same ink on 3 Blackout ink. And I have my little plastic sheet there showing me where I want to stamp. Now I'm going to line that up again. I'm going to add the little stamp positioner corner in the corner there, and then I'll remove the plastic, and I know that my stamp will now line up pretty good. So it's not perfect because I had stamped, or I had masked off the bottom edge, and to fix that I brought out one of my black pens. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll have it listed in the description box below. It's a Micron pen, and it's the 05, and it works well because it's archival and it's permanent. And I just had to kind of connect those dark bold lines, and then I just randomly started connecting the stained glass lines. It's not perfect, but in the end you don't see much of it anyway, and it worked out. So that's how I made the stamp longer to fit in the tallest window of the building that my husband created. I actually had my daughter color this one for me because I was working on day 11's video and those ornaments, and it was perfect because all she did was follow the coloring that I had already done using the same markers. It's very simple coloring, and she was able to just get that all colored. I did heat set it with my heat tool just like I did the other ones, just to make sure it is totally dry. So now I'm sure these hands look different, not the ones you're used to seeing, but this is my husband, and I wanted him to show you what he was doing with the stained glass windows that I made. Plus, I wanted him to show off his awesome cathedral that he built totally on his own out of like styrofoam and cardboard cereal boxes, and he did all of the painting himself, and it just looks so amazing. So what he did was he took the rectangle stamp that I did, and it was perfect for the three little windows on the sides of the building. And so he just cut that right in half, and then using some of the double-sided tape that I have from Ranger, he just added that to the sides, because this is really heavy duty tape, and he wanted something that, you know, would work and wouldn't fall off. So he added that to all four sides, and he is putting it on the side where my coloring is, so, or on the opposite side. So the side that is actually out showing from the building is the side opposite of what I colored on. And that just gives a nice smooth look and allows the color to filter, or the light to filter through really nicely. So he just took off the tape and he's positioning it in that window, and that's it. That's all. But I think it just looks so cute. It looks like a little stained glass window in this little building. And so he did that with the other two sides. He had already done the other side and the taller windows on the back side of the building. So he's just adding these last three windows, and that completes the cathedral of our little family Christmas village that we all kind of contributed to. So I took some video here at night with the houses all lit up. Here you can see the different sides. There's that tall window where I showed you how I created the stamp to be longer than it actually was, and that's why I needed to do that, for that tall window in the middle. And that's the front. It looks so cute. I love it. It's so adorable. So here's some video footage I took at night. I had my camera light on for my phone. You can kind of see the flickering of the lights. We put some of those flameless candles inside. My daughters actually used parchment paper to create their windows, where I used the vellum and colored on it to create that. And here's some still pictures of it lit up at night. I think you can kind of see how pretty it is. You can't see the flickering. We got these little flickering flameless candles to put inside, but I think it's so cute, and it lights up really nicely, and you can really see the colors and the stained glass look. Thank you guys again so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. I'd love to hear in the comments below if you want to see how my husband actually built that cathedral or other buildings like that. Maybe he'll start his own channel in 2019. Until then, I will be back in the new year. Stay inspired, be creative, and share that with others. Bye.